specifically for Microsoft Office Excel Experts exam. In this, I will be covering all these course learning outcomes, and this is specifically focused on the exam. So I won't be covering like everything from this, but mostly whatever is important for the Microsoft certification exam. I have gone through the MOS exam multiple times, and based on that, I have created this workbook, which like it is not exactly the MOS exam because I don't know the exact language that they have used in the questions, but the concepts are very similar that you will see in the exam when you appear for them. Okay, so let's get started. I have created this file here. It has a lot of worksheets, and each worksheet has some data in it, which I have used to uh, cover those topics that will be asked on the projects in the MOS exam. So let's get started. The very first one is I have some blank data here which I need to fill out. If you see on the right hand side, I have some data based on which I am supposed to fill out this area here. Now, why I'm taking the same data, if you notice, these both are actually exactly the same. It is just that one is the transpose of the other. Why I want to do it 2 times? The reason is I want to show the difference between the formula based on the direction of this data. So let's get started with the first one. It says that I want to use a data range from P6 to R14. That is this one. Why this matters? Because whenever you are filling out the data, you look at the area from where you are getting the answers. If you are getting the answers from the data that is vertical, then you will have to apply vlookup. If you are getting the data from the area that is horizontal, then you have to apply hlookup. But you have another function that you can apply in replacement of hlookup and vlookup, and that is xlookup. So I'm going to start with this one. Now, because P6 to R14, the data is laid out vertical, I'm going to apply vlookup first. Then, what is the value that you want to look for? This is the meaning of lookup value. I want to look for this number, and I will keep it relative because I do want it to change every time. So I won't apply dollar in front of this. Then the table array. Table array is where you want to get the data from. So that we already know I want to get my data from this area, that is P6 to, actually it's not P6, it's P7. And honestly, it does not matter if you select the heading also along with this. As a matter of fact, it does not matter what more items you're selecting. What actually matters in the vlookup is that the very first column that you are selecting has the ID that you are looking for. That is the only rule for vlookup. So even if you select this much or you select like this, it's okay. And the reason is because you will never have a number called last accessed. If you had, only then this would be returned. But if I do not have, that means it does not matter. I won't even have that number that I'm looking for. So how will it be returned? That is why it does not matter. So I'll show you what happens if I select this. Now in this case, I will have to make it absolute or relative or mixed, no matter which one you choose to make it. By mixed, I mean this one. Mixed means then when the dollar sign is in front of either the row or the column, which means either row is fixed or the column is fixed. Now, why it does not matter if you make it absolute or mixed? because your goal is to only make the row fixed. Anything extra that you are doing, like you make the dollar in front of column, that is something extra. You can skip it, but it's not wrong. So even if you do like this, that's also correct. Then the column index number is what is the column number from which you want to return the value. My column index number is 1, 2, 3. And then after that, range lookup. If you do not type anything, it is true by default. But I want it to be false because I want to return the exact value, which means that if the closest value is not found, then they won't give me an error message. They will still return something. Sorry, if an exact value, sorry, what the true means is that if the exact value is not found, they will return the closest value. But I do not want the closest, I want the exact. That's why I type false. And okay, I fill the rest of the data like this. Similarly, in this case, exactly same. The difference is only of the direction. Now, because this data is horizontal, I'm going to use hlookup. What is the value that you want to look for? The theory is the same. I want to look for this value. Where do you want to look for the value? I want to look for the value. Let's take it this time. This one, I'm not taking the headings. I will make it relative now. Why I'm making it relative? So that the row does not change. So eventually what I'll do, I will drop the formula down. So what will happen when I do that? This will also keep on going down, but I don't want that to happen. That's why I fix the row. Row index number. In this case, they are asking me row index number because this is hlookup. So for that, we are going to put the row index numbers discount like this: 1, 2, 3. And again, this is also false because you want the exact value only. Now I said that you could have done this, both of these actually, just by using the xlookup, which means if you are not okay with the direction, you don't know which formula to apply in case of this direction or that direction, then you could have applied a very easy function also, and that is xlookup. No matter what's the direction, it works on both of them. Again, very similar. A lookup value. What is the value that you want to look for? I want to look for this value. Lookup array. Let's take this for the first time. And I'm going to make it absolute. Return array. Sorry, I did this wrong. I did it just like the lookup and xlookup. Sorry, vlookup and xlookup. Lookup array is different than the table array. Lookup array is the array from which you have to look for the value. So in this case, it is going to be this one only. Then the return array, I'm going to make this absolute. Then the return array is going to be this, because my answer is in this one. So notice that in case of xlookup, you do not have to input the column or row number also. So it's okay if it is actually very easy, because if you have like a large data set, you will have to count a lot of number of columns or rows in that case, and it will be like counting them, and there can be like 30, 50 rows or columns. So we don't have to count, we just have to select the return array from which our value is. And this also you can use. So as of now, we don't need this. So I'm just going to click OK and fill this out. Similarly, you can use it here as well. Actually, I should have used it. Okay. because I want to use this data here from P6. So here also I can use xlookup. Exactly the same lookup value. Lookup array is this one. Sorry, lookup array is just this one. And the return array is this one. When you're selecting these, make sure you select the right corresponding ones, which means don't select the lookup array this and then the return array this. They have to be equal, okay? They have to be like if you're starting from P8, the other also start from R8. And you get the answer. Let's change it to time and then you get the right answer. The number for actually when I cut and paste it, the number format was also changed. So this is, we did 3 lookup functions. We are going to do more in the upcoming worksheets. Let's move to the next part, that is fill series. This is also a very important concept. This is useful when we want to complete rest of the data based on the earlier ones. So what we have here is we have 3 different, because I want to cover 3 different topics within here. So I have A, B, C, D. You can think of these as products. So these were the number of units you sold in the first year, second year, and then now you want to see how many you are able to sell in third, fourth, fifth, sixth year. Now I have decided that I'm assuming that every year I have an increase of 50. So instead of manually typing 350 or adding any function where you add 50 from the previous one, I am going to use the fill series option. Now, what is fill series option? You select the cells based on which you want to fill out the rest of the data. So you select cells based on which you want to fill the data, and then you select the output data as well. And the reason is, why do I have to select from here? The reason is actually in this area. So if you see, in this series, you have an option of stop value. But I do not know the stop value. I would know the stop value if they had already given it to me. But in this case, the stop value will be different for every product because the second year number of units sold was different. So please pay attention. In case you do know the stop value, in that case, there is no need to select the there is no need to select stop value because you don't know where it is going to stop. They will stop it wherever they reach the stop value. In some cases, it is less than 500 because if they make it plus 50, it is go beyond 500. So they just stopped it right there. And why did we have to select the stop, cells here? Because we do not know the stop value. So I'm going to leave this blank and then just select the cells till which point I want to fill out the data. That is the reason why sometimes we have to select the output region and sometimes we don't have to. Then series in rows. We select rows because we want to fill the data in rows. If it was like columns, like vertical, then you will select columns. Linear, because I have to input a particular number plus 50 every time. So step value is 50. Then I'll leave stop and click OK. And that's it. You see, every time 50 is added in all the rows here. Similarly, let's do this one where you are decreasing by 10. You know it is maybe inflation now going on. So you know that every year you have 10 units less in your sales. So you want to reduce by 10. Rows linear, you do minus 10 and it is reducing by minus 10 every year. After that, this one is very important. complete the data for third year onward such that there is a growth of 10% per year. Now it is given in percentage, it is not in number, which means my next year's number should be multiplied by, so multiplied by this. So I should get, sorry, 0, 1.1. Oh, okay. Multiplied by, I just want to show you what it is supposed to look like. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so what I want to do is, I really forgot the very easy formula when we multiply by 10%. So I want to add 10% to this one. What is 10% of 300? Yes, it's 30. So you should be getting 330, something like that. So every year I'm increasing it by 10%. So we will do the same thing. We select the data along with the output, and then we go to fill series. Rows is okay, growth, and the step value is going to be 10%. So let's just try this one first. I want to try just 10%, and I click OK. Notice what has happened here. Even if you do this wrong in the exam, by looking at the results, you will get to know that you have done something wrong. You see, it is giving me 10% of the previous year every time. But I did not want that. I wanted plus 10%, which means instead of this being 30 here, it should have been 330. So, which means I did not add, I just took the percentage, but I did not add the previous year's data. So for that, you need to include actually 110%. Because you take the 100% from the previous year and add the 10% to it. So whatever percentage you want to add, you add that to 100%. So because still this one is 100%, you want to add something to this one. And then it becomes this. Now, if it was opposite, your growth was reducing by 10% every year, then also it's the same. What you'll do then, instead of putting 110%, if it was decreasing by 10%, 100 minus 10 is 90, then it will be 90%. Right? That's also the same thing. So I'll just change it to 110 so that you're not confused, maybe. And then we'll move to the next one. Okay, the next question is return the list of names based on the following title. Okay, output will be, oh, all right, output will be in cell. Okay, so this is very, very important again. And this one is very new. This never was there in Microsoft 2019. This is a very new function that you see in 2025. What I want is list of all the type names of the employees. So you see sales rep, which means I want to see the names of all the people who are sales rep. If I change it to manager, then I will see all the names of the managers. Now, for this, we are going to use a function called filter. Filter okay. Now, Array. Array is the range or the array to filter. Basically, whatever thing you want to return. Now, what I want to return is the list of names. So I'm going to select this because at the end, what I want is the name of the employees who are sales rep. Include. This is where you apply the filter. So where do I want to apply the filter? You select that array now. I want to apply the filter. How do I get to know? By looking at what's my criteria. I want sales rep. In which column is sales rep? It is in the title. So that means I'm looking at the titles. You select this. Now, after that, you still have to apply filter, right? Equals. Sorry, no need to select, no need to type it. You can select it. If you did not have the selection option, then you could have typed it also. But if you were typing, you will type the sales rep in the double quotes. Otherwise, this one is enough. Then, okay. And you get all the sales rep. Now, if you change it to manager, the function will change to only show manager. You change it to supervisor, it will change to show only supervisor, right? So that is the filter. Now, if you had like multiples, the condition was not only for supervisor, but you had like two on which you were supposed to apply a filter. And also, if you want to edit the function, you will have to go to the same cell where you applied, where the filter started actually. You cannot go here. You cannot type anything in this area. So you have to go back into the first one and apply filter here. So I add plus. I again select this one, equals, and I select manager. Okay, what did I do wrong? What I'm trying to do is I want to apply two filters at the same time, not only just one. So this, to this, plus, because they have to be separated, Excel needs to read them separately. Okay, that is done. So now it is not only showing me supervisor, this one, it is also showing me manager. So it shows me supervisor also, manager also. So I'll show once again. So it was not the double quotes, it was the bracket. So we have to apply brackets so that Excel understands which one is starting where and ending where. So then the brackets are required. Similarly, if you wanted more, you can add more. For example, if you had the date also, you will add plus bracket higher date equal to particular, maybe not this one, higher date equal to greater than, let's take greater than 2. We will do another question for the date one because that is a little complicated. It really matters what is the format of the date. See, here you have hyphens. If you had slashes, you will have to input the slash there. So which means you can add as many filters you would want to. So I'm just going to delete the extras because we just wanted to have on the supervisor. I will delete anything that is not required. The date. So, all right. So that was the filter function. Next, Display the total salary given to the employees who were hired before the date given below. Now I have a date here. I want to see how much salary I have paid to the employees who were hired before this date. Now I want to calculate total salary. That means I want to sum it. But I have a condition. They should have been hired before this date. So now when along with the sum you have a condition, it becomes sum if. There are lots of other functions that you could see on your mouse, like average if, max if, min if, count if. If you understand one, you understand basically all of them. So I'm just going to explain the sum if here. Sum if. Now you have three arguments here: sum criteria, sorry, range criteria, sum range. Now the confusion here is usually between the range and sum range because both use the word range. I usually like to fill out the sum range first because then I know what to fill in the range. Or I already know the sum range because I don't have to do the figuring out in this case. Sum range is what you want to add. It is already given here that I want to add the salary. So my sum range is going to be this. That's done. Then range and criteria are always related to each other. Why do I say that? You see, you want to add the total salary for the employees who were hired before this date. That means it has something to do with date. We want to work on date. So date is the criteria. This is the criteria, and range will be based on the criteria. So the criteria is date. Now I'm coming back to this one again. That is the date. Now this one is little, this is the place where you make mistake. If you just press OK now, you will get 0. The reason is there is no date exactly equal to this one. And when you did not put any operator here, less than, equal, less than or greater than, they are thinking that you are just talking about this date. But what I want is all the dates before this one. So I put less than, right? I put less than so that I get all the dates before this one. When I do that, I still get 0. And the reason is, if you go back in here, you will notice that they put double quotes here. So how they're reading this cell is less than L2. They do not think L2 as row or column number. They think of L2 as just a string, text, series of text. So what you will have to do is actually remove this and add the double quotes here. That is, the double quotes should be less than equal to, and when you do that, it will show invalid because they are not able to link both of these together. So what you have to do after that is put ampersand, which means they will join less than and whatever is in L2. That is how they are going to understand it. So that's why it is very important. So this ampersand is very important here. So double quotes in less than, ampersand, join it with the text. So now it's reading it as less than and less than whatever is in cell L2. Now you will get the answer. If you're not able to figure this out, you can try the same function. Let me just do it here. You can try the same function by typing less than and type the date on your own. When you type the date on your own, you are basically typing everything. So they put the quotes here automatically. It will show you the right answer. But in case it is given to you, you actually would have to select the cell. That's where the ampersand and the quotes come in use. Okay, so that was this one, and then let's move to okay, I'm going to do this in the next video. So I have covered 3 so far. I will be uploading another video to add another 3 or 4. So I will create like 4 or 5 videos to complete this. Okay, please stay tuned. I will keep uploading the videos for you so that you can practice for the MOS exam and get your certificate.